What if I told you that the continents beneath your feet are slowly moving toward a completely different world? A world where the Atlantic Ocean may no longer look the same. The Pacific could become dramatically smaller, and today's separate continents could eventually collide to form one enormous supercontinent. It sounds like science fiction, but Earth has done this before, and over the next 200 to 300 million years, it could happen again. Right now, the world map looks permanent. North America is here, Africa is here, Asia, Europe, South America, Australia, and Antarctica all seem fixed in place, but they aren't. Earth's outer shell is broken into enormous pieces called tectonic plates, and these plates are constantly moving, usually only a few centimeters every year. That's roughly as fast as your fingernails grow. But Earth has something humans don't. Hundreds of millions of years. Over that amount of time, tiny movements can carry entire continents across oceans. Around 300 million years ago, most of Earth's major landmasses were joined together in a giant supercontinent called Pangaea. Imagine almost all the familiar continents connected into one enormous world. Then, Pangaea began breaking apart. Cracks opened, continents moved away from one another, new ocean basins formed between them, and eventually the pieces became the continents we recognize today. But here's the important part. That movement never stopped. The Atlantic Ocean is still widening along much of the mid-Atlantic ridge, where new oceanic crust is being created. Meanwhile, around much of the Pacific Ocean, old oceanic crust is being pushed beneath other tectonic plates. This process is called subduction. So while some ocean basins grow when others can shrink, continents separate, then eventually collide again. Scientists call this long-term pattern the supercontinent cycle. And if it continues, Earth may eventually create another giant supercontinent. But what will it look like? That's where the mystery begins. Scientists don't know. Predicting plate tectonics a few million years into the future is one thing. Predicting Earth's geography 250 million years from now is far more difficult. Plate boundaries can reorganize. New subduction zones can form. Old ones can disappear. So researchers have proposed several possible futures. One is called Amasia. In some versions of this scenario, the Pacific continues closing as continents move toward one another, eventually assembling a new supercontinent. North America and Asia could become connected as the geography of the Arctic and Pacific changes dramatically. Australia, which is already moving northward, could become increasingly integrated with Asia. The world map would look almost nothing like today's, but that's not the only possibility. Another proposed supercontinent is called Pangaea Ultima, sometimes called Pangaea Proxima. In this scenario, tectonic activity eventually reverses the Atlantic's expansion. The Atlantic begins closing, and continents that were once joined in Pangaea move back toward one another. North America could collide with Africa. South America could become squeezed against other landmasses, and a giant new continent could form. There's also another possibility called Novopangaea. In this scenario, the Pacific closes while the Atlantic continues widening. The Americas eventually collide with Asia, creating another completely unfamiliar arrangement. And then there's Aurica, a different model in which both the Atlantic and Pacific could eventually close while new ocean basins develop elsewhere. 4 possible futures. 4 radically different Earths, and scientists cannot yet say which one, if any, will actually happen. But whichever configuration emerges, life on a supercontinent could be extreme. Imagine an enormous landmass stretching across much of the planet. Coastal areas could still receive moisture from the oceans, but deep inside the continent, some regions could be incredibly far from the sea. That could create vast, dry interiors and extreme temperature differences. Mountain ranges could rise where continents collide. Earthquakes could reshape entire regions. Volcanoes could appear along active tectonic boundaries. Ocean currents would also change as continents blocked old pathways and created new ones. That could transform climate patterns across the entire planet. And there's something even stranger. The night sky would still contain many familiar stars, but almost every location on Earth would be different. Cities like New York, Tokyo, London, and Sydney would either be long gone or sitting on land that had traveled thousands of kilometers from where it is today. The Mediterranean Sea could disappear. New mountain ranges could rise where oceans once existed. Places currently separated by enormous bodies of water could become neighbors. And none of this requires a giant asteroid, a global earthquake, or some sudden catastrophe. It happens because Earth is never truly still. Every year, the continents move a little. Most of us will never notice it, but add those tiny movements together for 250 million years, and you can rebuild an entire planet. Of course, these future maps are predictions, not photographs of what will definitely happen. Earth's tectonic system is too complex to know the exact arrangement so far into the future. But one thing is almost certain: the world map we know today will not last forever. Oceans are temporary. Mountain ranges are temporary. Even continents are temporary. Earth has assembled supercontinents before and broken them apart. And right now, beneath our feet, the next chapter is already being written, very slowly, a few centimeters at a time. So when you look at a world map, don't think of it as a finished picture. Think of it as a single frame from a movie that's been running for billions of years. And 250 million years from now, Earth may have a world map that none of us would recognize.